Good morning, Wellspring.
Good morning, Judy.
Good morning, people out there in Zoomland or wherever you happen to be. My name is Judy Bethman, and I'm part of your Sunday, September 22nd, 2024 service team. We have a few announcements, as always. Early Bird meets Sunday mornings at 9:30 via Zoom. The link is in the weekly email and on our website. Our speaker for today is our beloved Reverend Kamatara, and next week we'll have, on the 29th, Reverend Randy Granger. The Thursday evening group continues to meet at 7 here in the social hall or on Zoom. You can get your coordinates from Cleona or Edward, and they're doing videos from Gaia TV, correct? All right. The labyrinth is slowly coming along. Thank you for those who have contributed the rocks. We need help finding more rocks. You know, as I approached the corner up here, I saw like 6 nice rocks, but I needed to get to church, so maybe when I go home, I can stop and pick up those rocks. So be vigilant. They need to be about 6 inches in diameter, and we put them under the pergola. Excuse me. And so rock on, people. And lastly, our prayer team remains ready to serve and support you. You may submit a request via our webpage or give it to Edward. Our prayer team meets virtually on Tuesday afternoons at 4:15 to pray with you. You may consider sitting in your quiet space during this time, for we know we are one in spirit, and energy of prayer knows no limits. Somebody get the door, please. That door there. There was a knock on the door. Spirit knocking. Come on in. Come on down. Come on in. Edwin, do you want to give them one of these? Nope. Okay. Okay. All right. Great to have you. I'm going to ring the bell again. With these vibrations, let us close our eyes and take a deep breath in and release. Deep breath in again. And as we release all the cares of the world for this past week that have been on our shoulders. We invite Spirit to come in with us to celebrate this time together, to rejoice with us, to play with us, to be happy with us, to allow us to express ourselves in the confidence that we are all one, of one mind, one body, one spirit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. All right, and now we have some special music from me. Please stand and let's do the Song of Joy. Everywhere I look, Thank you, and please be seated. Let us read together our vision, our mission, and our affirmation. Our vision to to elevate spiritual consciousness in our world. Our mission to support individual spiritual quests through celebration, study, counsel, loving fellowship, and service. Our affirmation. My life is a blessing to all I meet. God's love flowing through me is felt by all around me. I bring joy to lives of others. I know the truth of my being, and I am at peace. I'm going to take a deep breath here because I've made 2 mistakes so far, and I don't want to make a mistake on this. Okay. I am a child of this universe. The ocean dances at my feet. The wind plays a melody through my hair. I am loved at every turn. I am kissed by Mother Earth. I am a child of this universe. The sun warms me in its embrace. The stars have aligned me, for in the sky I am honored by all life. I am held by Father Time. Every blade of grass, every shaking leaf on a tree, every mountain top sings of the glory of God moving through me. I am a child of this universe. Through my breath, all of life can breathe. I plant the seeds with my every dream. I am love at every turn. Give a kiss to Mother Earth. I am a child of this universe. I greet the God in each face. I am a channel for peace to flow. Oh, I honor all of life. Yes, I'm one with Father Time. Every blade of grass, to every shaking leaf on a tree, every mountain's top, I sing of the glory of God moving through all, moving through me, moving as you, moving as me. All right, the reading for today comes from our Science of Mind textbook. It is on page 264, and it's a treatment for peace of mind, obviously by Ernest Holmes. We cannot be in peace until we know that spirit is the only cause, medium, and effect in our lives. There is no past, present, or future to it. Evil has no history and has never entered into the being or the experience of reality. The mind must come to know and to realize all these truths if it is to have real and lasting peace. A treatment such as this will be of great service in acquainting the mind with the truth of its being. This is from the Bible. Be still and know that I am God. I am the Christ, the Son of the living God within me. I am the principle of peace within me. I am the manifestation of love within me. My mind is poised in peace and beauty. All sense of fear and doubt is gone. I rest in calm trust and rely on the law of spirit to bring good into my experience. I contend with none, argue with none, and I'm filled with wonderful peace and light. There is no uncertainty about my future, and I fear as a result. I have no fear as a result of my past. I live in the eternal now, which is filled with good alone. Goodness and beauty follow me. Peace and joy accompany me. Happiness and wholeness fill my entire being with the realization of love and perfection. I am the Christ, the Son of the living God within me. This inner mind of mine is now divine and complete. It has no worries and no fears. It is whole, complete, and satisfied. I look back over all previous experience and find that it is good, very good. I look forward to the future and find that it is good and very good. I look at the present and find that it is also good and very good. God is in all, over all, and through all. I am the Christ, the Son of the living God within me. I am the spirit of confidence. I am poised in love and reason. I am the perfect law of truth and the complete presence of beauty. I am the Christ, the Son of the living God within me. And when he says, I am the Christ, he means you are the Christ. He's not talking particularly about the Master Jesus. You are the Christ. And so it is. Well, it gives me great pleasure to bring up our Reverend Kamatara, who we haven't seen in several months. It's been a while. Love you.
Yes, beautiful. Whew. Well, good morning, Wellspring. Oh, let's try that again. Good morning, Wellspring. Good morning. Woo, that was much better. We're awake now. Okay. I know we have our coffee after service instead of before, so that's all right. But I'm very happy to be back because, yes, I was gone for the month of August, and I do want to say thank you because a lot of you were just super supportive through some of the rough and tumble times that were happening in August, and y'all are just supportive and kind and reaching out and checking on me, and that's part of the bounty of being in spiritual community together is that we are checking on each other, and when it's hard to remember the truth of our being, we remember that for each other, and that's just so bountiful and beautiful, and also being part of a greater organization, kind of tangentially associated with the Centers for Spiritual Living. I do appreciate the Science of Mind magazine. And I swear the topic for each month, I just think, why do I have to keep living that? Like whatever the topic is, then my life goes, whoop, here you go, sister. You're going to experience this a lot. And so the topic for this month with the Centers for Spiritual Living are moving from pieces to peace. And if you haven't had the great delight of checking out the daily readings and the affirmations and some of the articles in there, really take another look because it's really well put together and it's been very clarifying for me even as I've been walking through some incredibly turbulent times. So the goal here is to consider how could we shift how we see and experience the world from all these disparate pieces that can be so disruptive and disturbing into actually seeing only oneness, and experiencing only peace. That's the transformation that we're looking for today. So the first thing that we really need to do is to wake up to the illusion of separateness. Now, at first, when I was in Centers for Spiritual Living or Science of Mind or studying New Thought, I was like, oh, what does that mean? It's so abstract when people say, wake up to the illusion of separation, or there is no separation. We are all one. I'm like, yeah, that's nice. What does that mean? It sounds like an empty platitude. So how do we put legs to that or really plug it in? Like, I love that our teaching, faith, philosophy, and way of life here is about being a practical mystic, that it's applied metaphysics, not just woo-woo abstract in the clouds. So the way that I try to define waking up to the illusion of separation is, can I actually see that I might be functioning on different planes of existence or different perceptions or different ways of being, and that, okay, I have my human self and all these conditions and things are happening, these details in my life, these objects, these people, these experiences, I'm having this human experience, yes. And can I take a step back and open up my lens, open up the aperture to see more, that there's also spirit that is happening here and that is expressing in as through all the experiences and everything that I'm experiencing. That is God showing up, just waiting to be recognized. That's where, if I can see that, I'm starting to wake up. And can I practice seeing that? In fact, let's just try a simple little experiment right now. I'm going to invite you, and I know this is maybe uncomfortable for church, or like when you're in an elevator, there's a protocol, you just kind of look forward and you don't talk. But in this moment, will you just take a moment to look around the room? Just look around at all the other people and parts and things. And even if you're at home, just look around your house and you're seeing all different objects and maybe your critters. And oh my gosh. And I love the way we love each other here. For those of you at home, there's like huge smiles and we're waving and there's like little sparkles in our eyes because it's just so much fun, right? Okay, now come on back to yourself. And then I'm going to ask you, if you feel comfortable, just to close your eyes and go within for a moment and just breathe into your heart space and feel the divine within, the Christ presence, something sacred that's happening there. And expand your sense to really feel oneness with all beings, that interconnectivity of spirit expressing, expanding outward in your sense, and really feel the peace that's in the divine. Now, holding on to that feeling, go ahead and open your eyes and slowly look around the room again, only this time from your heart center. And really look into each other's eyes and have that namaste moment of the divine in me recognizes and honors the divine in you. And then come on back to yourself. And then come on back to me. Did you feel the shift in this room? And it only took a moment. It only took a moment to remember who and what we are, and then to actually apply it and use it and to interact in a different way. And I know that was only a glimmer, but that's waking up to being able to see only the one and to experience the peace that comes with that. And so we already know, here's the good news, we know how to do that. We just did it. It's absolutely possible. We know what it feels like to be in that place. So let's take a moment to think about when it's not like that. Because when it's not like that is kind of what typically happens out in the greater world, like in society. So when we view the world through the lens of otherness, us versus them, or that separation, there's them out there and those people, and then there's me. That's all the pieces. We're only seeing a little piece. it can be a really scary place. It can be confusing, disorienting. We may not feel safe, or like we need to protect ourselves, or we get into that poverty consciousness, like if you have more, then I have less. And then it gets really combative. And that's a hard way to live. Then we're reacting out of defensiveness and fear and lack and frustration and all the things that we probably really don't want to be experiencing. But if we can intentionally wake up to a world of oneness and peace and live into that namaste everywhere we go, then we're in that place of love and curiosity and cooperation, not combat, cooperation and compassion. And there's a lot to be said for compassion, especially in this day and age. That's where the transformation happens. Because that's where we can change for the better. And then we begin to experience a world filled with peace and love and harmony right now, not later, not at a future date, not when, whatever comes again, whatever beliefs folks might have. Like, no. Right now, right here. So to summarize this first little point, in the illusion of separation, there is no peace. There's only these crazy, disturbing parts. Only oneness can weave the pieces together to become an experience of peace. And then nothing disturbs us because we can see the whole context, not just the parts. My father did, in fact, pass in August, which is part of the beautiful support that y'all were giving me. And it was really an honor to be able to be with my mom and to support her in the days leading up to the memorial service. And of course, the funeral home did the classic, here are the big 4 poster boards, and you're going to do the photos. And it can be kind of grueling. I mean, we had thousands of photos. My dad lived for 85 years. It's a lot of photos. So we were going through just thousands of photos, and I was just like flipping through, and anything that had my dad, I kind of narrowed it down for my mom and gave her a pile. And then we went through the pile. And of course, there's all the tears and the stories and the things that come up, good times, bad times, and everything in between. But what was amazing was trying to pick out, like, yeah, here are the younger years. Here's the young married. Here's this. Here's where he was giving service to his community and different people, he impacted. And it was amazing pulling, like, my dad's greatest hits and putting it on the boards. And seeing all those parts and pieces, no matter what rugged experiences I may have had with him as a child, as he was walking through his alcoholism and all the things that he was experiencing in his life so he could survive and he could provide for us kids. God bless him, he did it. No matter how rough and ready it was, he did it. And then to take that step back and to see 8.5 decades on these boards of a life well lived in all its messy goodness, the whole spectrum of experience with him was amazing. Such a deep sense of peace that my mom and I could experience, and my brothers looking at those boards. And even some of the joy and delight of like, oh, I know so-and-so is going to be at the memorial service. Here's a picture of her in 1974 standing next to my dad. Let's put it on the board. So there were like amazing moments of when, they do the visitation and the family stands in the receiving line and people are coming through. And it was such a treasure to be able to say to the person who was also grieving, how did you know my dad? And then they would launch into a mini story. And I mean, I would hear things I had no idea. My dad touched so many people's lives. And to make the spaciousness, like we were talking about this morning in Early Birds, the spaciousness for the whole spectrum that is my dad, of the rough and tumble experiences I may have had with him in the privacy of our home versus the public life he had out in the world, changing people's lives. And they're both equally true at the same time. And that's where the peace comes, from being able to see the whole big picture and to know, no matter how my dad was showing up, he is an expression of the divine. In fact, if we go back to our Declaration of Principles with Ernest Holmes, he writes, we believe in the individualization of the spirit in us and that all people are individualizations of the one. So tuning into that spiritual truth that we are each spirit made manifest, we realize how deeply we are one. And then we can move beyond that sense of him versus me or the other and really expand into a lived experience of oneness, not just an empty platitude, really experiencing the peace that surpasses all understanding, that no matter what is going on around me, I am in the I am. And that's where there is peace. So we can look into the eyes of another and see God in everyone. And I know that's a big ask in an election year, but I double dog dare you when things are really contentious and feeling ugly and weird and bizarre, and there's someone that just could curdle your blood. Here's instead of a battle cry, I'm going to say it's a peace cry. Here's our peace cry. I want you to think of your furnace in your house. And you know how there's that itty bitty little pilot light? And they always put it in the most inconvenient place. Thank you, engineers. Okay, so no matter how buried that pilot light is, right? It's lit. And so this is what I want you to remember. No matter who or what is standing before you, no matter what situation it is, no matter what is going on around you, the pilot light of the divine is always lit. The pilot light of the divine is always lit. No matter what I can see, no matter what I might be perceiving, no matter what that person may be doing, it's what we believe. The pilot light of the divine is always lit, that no matter who or what is before me, God is there too. So can I be not a warrior, but a peacemaker to see it and then be it? And can I recognize, could I be vulnerable enough and brave enough to admit when I am not it? Because boy, howdy, there's a lot of times when I am not seeing God in everyone, or I am not being peace. So can I recognize when I'm out of alignment with the divine, and then can I make a different choice? And again, not an empty platitude when we say change your thinking, change your life. That's living into it. I can make a different choice. So take a moment to think about this last week that you just experienced in your personal life. Can you pick out just one moment when maybe you were a little disturbed or upset? No, really, just one. One, just pick one. And then be a little scientist and kind of take that step back, fall behind it, like Mickey Singer would say in Untethered Soul, and be an observer of yourself, like a little movie that you're watching. And there's yourself when you're all upset and this thing is happening. Okay, what's your MO when you're upset? Is there a certain thing that you tend to do? I tend to have a spreadsheet with 47 points of things, action steps we need to take and do, as opposed to like, maybe I should just be with this for a minute. That's part of my MO. What's your MO? What do you tend to do when you're upset? What does it look like when you're not at peace? What does it sound like when you're not at peace? What does it feel like when you're not at peace? Where do you feel it in your body? Are you a heart pounder? Are you a palm sweater? I'm a tummy girl myself when I'm not at peace. So, oh yes, some people eat when they're not at peace. I know that my very precious father would get super loud and crazy things would come out of his mouth that were terrifying for us kids. And that was his MO. And could we be aware enough to realize, this is how spirit is getting my attention. If I'm hooked or barbed or riled up by this, then that's the thing I need to work on. And there it is. Okay. And considering I have a choice of how I behave. I can't control what's happening out in front of me. I really can't. But I can control how I react to it. And knowing that I have a choice. So I'm going to quote the most famous quote of all times from Viktor Frankl. You could probably say it word for word yourself. I know you know it. Remember, he was a survivor of the concentration camps. And Viktor Frankl said, between the stimulus and the response, there is a space. And in that space lays our freedom and our power to choose our responses. And then a lot of people stop there, but I love the next sentence. He says, in our response lies our growth and our freedom. And what I choose to do in this moment, if I can remember who and what I am, who do I want to be in this moment? That's the growth and freedom. But here's the fascinating little, I don't know, is God a trickster? I don't know. The way that we're hardwired as beautiful, precious, goofy human beings, when that space happens in between the stimulus and the response, that nanosecond, what happens in our precious little brains, we tell ourselves an entire story about that thing. An epic tome, perhaps a ballad, I don't know, whatever your brain does. But wow, we can make up some real whoppers in that split second. And here's the truth. Objectively speaking, whatever just happened, whether it's a story in the news or what a family member said or did or the thing we saw on Facebook, it literally has no meaning. None. It's just an event. It's just a stimulus. Until we give it the meaning it has for us. And then we respond based on the meaning that we made up. We're meaning-making machines. We're storytellers extraordinaire. I think of what our friends in A Course in Miracles say, this only has the meaning that I give it. And in Unity, I think it was Gary Simmons who said that everything is God. Everything else is just stuff we made up. Same way of saying the same thing. All right. So it has no meaning except the meaning that I give it. So if we can practice the pause, do a pause for peace. We're waking up to oneness, recognize when we're not in oneness and when we're not. Okay, practice the pause. Slow down. Take that breath and just a moment to explore the story we're selling to ourselves about all these crazy parts and pieces. This is how I'm connecting the dots. Whoa. Because oftentimes the way we connect the dots are just old tapes and old patterns of thinking and old ways of being that do not support the peace and love we want to be and experience in the world. So we make a different choice. And again, I'm just grooving on A Course in Miracles right now. Another great phrase that we could bank on is, I choose peace instead of this. Whatever this is. Yeah, this can be pretty loaded. Okay, I choose peace instead of this. So in a world where people are choosing their battles, wouldn't it be great to just consciously choose peace? If you went into a situation that you knew had the potential to be contentious and you went in with peace, it's really fun to watch people react to that. Now, granted, some people get like extra upset when you go in and you're still peaceful, and then they get amped up because they're trying to bait you. But don't take the bait. Take the deep breath and let's have some more peace. In fact, this is the way we learn every time that we get into these situations and we get to practice. Am I going to choose peace instead of this? It's just like when the car window is open a good portion and you see the fly just like hitting the window and it can't get out, and all it has to do is just level up a little tiny bit and it could just fly right out of the car. And isn't that us so many times? And when I choose peace, I'm just flying right out the window, nice and easy. I can take the time to make a new choice and choose peace. And what's exciting is that in the physical body, neurologically speaking, we are rewiring our brain. This is conscious evolution in action, becoming fully awake. So we can ask ourselves, well, what is the outcome that I want in this situation? Do I want an argument? Do I want to be right? Ooh, it's very seductive and tempting to be right. Let me tell you, there's something about our egos that enjoy being right. And as an Enneagram 1, woohoo! Let me tell you, I'm all about the self-righteous indignation and the justice and the truth and the right way to do things. And then I think, wow, simmer down, sister. I choose peace. instead of this. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to work towards whatever what could should be done in this moment to try to make things better. Absolutely. But I want to remind us that the ends do not justify the means. It matters how we get there. It totally matters. So I choose peace instead of this. That I don't want to get there by force. I want to get there through power. If you've ever read Hawkins, that's one of his distinctions that he makes between force versus power. When I am aligned with the divine, I am in my true power. When I am at peace, then I have the full expression of the divine backing whatever it is that I may be saying or doing or not saying and not doing. That is the space of grace. So from Dr. Holmes, to bring it all in here, from This Thing Called You, such a good book, he writes, peace comes from a sense of union with the whole. Confusion comes from a sense of separation. So it's time for us to intentionally wake up to the illusion of separation, to have that grand rising into oneness, and to pull all the pieces together to really experience peace. Because then we're living that place of namaste where we see God in everyone that we meet. And then when we're not doing that, I recognize it with all due humility. I'm not beating myself up. I just say, and there it is, another chance to practice a pause for peace. And I can compassionately ask myself, what's the story I'm telling myself in this moment? And is it real? And then just consciously choose what I do. I can choose peace. I take my power back when I choose peace. And then we're making the world as a whole more peaceful right now. Not after the election, right now. Peace right now. So to close, Ernest Holmes wrote a work called World Peace is Not an Illusion. I got to track this down. He says, you and I know that no matter how confused we are, he puts it so delicately, no matter how confused we are, if we will get by ourselves long enough and think peace, we will become peaceful. Peace is the divine reality at the heart of God. So I hope this week you can live at the heart of your reality, the heart of God, which is the heart of you, which is peace. Let's take it to prayer. And dropping down into that space where we know the presence of God, of that one loving source, of that oneness, where each of us are truly connected in the divine. I speak my word for each person who's in this room, who's in Zoomland, in their home, whether now or in the future. We're all connected in this beautiful, bountiful spiritual community that is Wellspring. And we are connected in the divine. And I also extend this prayer out to our loved ones as well, that we are all connected in the divine. And holding all these beautiful people and places and experiences and events of our lives, holding them in the spaciousness of the divine. I know that each one of us is absolutely divinely guided and blessed this week. That whatever experiences or people or events or thoughts, anything that comes up to be known to us, if it's anything other than peace, I know that I am and you are aware, can feel the difference, can take a deep breath, and can pause for peace. Can tap into the divine in that moment and make the space for grace. Can see God in every person who crosses our path. Can see the divine in every situation, regardless of seeming appearances, and choose peace again and again until it is our natural way of being. Each one of us is the face of God, the hands of God, the word of God, the love of God in the here and now. And so each one of us brings the peace of God to anyone and everything that crosses our path. And I know that we can be peace for each other. When we lose it and we're out of alignment, and things are rough and tumble, we hold each other in peace and in love and in blessing. And I'm so grateful for this teaching, for the spiritual community, for being able to share the journey in such powerful ways, and all the blessings that come our way because we get to do this beautiful work. And for all the ways that we are brave this week to do the work. Thank you, God. Thank you, you, as God. So knowing that each one of us is absolutely blessed by this sacred time together, and our week is blessed, and everyone who crosses our paths this week are blessed. I give thanks and I let it be, knowing that all is well. And so it is. All right. And now it's time for some music.
Thank you, Kamatara. My gift goes forth on the wings of love, and it lands where it can heal and bless. It returns to me multiplied 1,000-fold. The universe says yes, yes, as the universe says yes. My gift goes forth on the wings of love, and it lands where it can heal and bless. It returns to me multiplied 1,000-fold, as the universe says yes. Peace, as the universe says yes. Thank you, Barry. Okay, now it's time for our offering. Judy Bloom, Judy Westfall. Thank you, Judy. Ooh, we give great thanks for these wonderful gifts because we know we're part of the flow of the universe, and this money is only tools that we use to spread the joy and the love and the peace that passes all understanding. We are thankful and we bless each and every one of you, and so it is.
So it is.
There are a number of folks who have contributed to the production of this service. We are grateful for their service. Thank you. Techies, musicians, PAs, speakers. Okay, and we thank you for joining us in Zoomland today and here in the sanctuary. And lastly, stay around in the Zoom meeting after the service to visit or join us in the social hall. Please stand if you are able and read with me the benediction followed by the congregational song. Spirit, in the midst of us is mighty. Joy, peace, and eternal life are our true nature and flow through us into the world, and so it is.